Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
The following podcast is a Vasilis Skarlias production.
Hello everyone, I'm Kennedy.
And I'm Vasilis.
We run Changemaker Z, a student-run initiative that aims to empower, educate, and connect Gen Zers interested in entrepreneurship.
We interview teenagers with impactful projects and create resources to help you change the world. If they can do it, so can you.
On this podcast, we discuss the logistics of creating different types of projects with Gen Zers who have already done it. We will leave our social media and website information in the description.
Welcome to another great episode of Gen Z's Rise. Today's guest is a rising junior from India and the founder and executive director of Salubrious Organization, a youth-led non-profit organization that aims to empower, educate, and inspire youth in STEM, especially minorities, trying in an aspect of tech leadership and social entrepreneurship. Please welcome Vaishnavi Jaiswal.
Hi, my name is Vaishnavi. I am 15 years old from India and a rising high school junior. And I started Salubrious Organization when I was 14. Since then, we have reached over 45 countries and impacted 5,000 youth and helped them gain access to STEM X entrepreneurship methods and empower them in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
When did you start the Salubrious Organization?
So I started Salubrious when I was 14 as a freshman in high school. So it all started when I really faced these minority in tech. So it started when so I always have this role model who is an astronaut. She's Kalpana Chawla, and I always thought that all I want to do is to become an astronaut. But when I really got into coding, I realized that I have no one to look after in coding, and that's why I've just pre-assumed in my mind that all I can do is astronomy. And that's when I really clicked in my mind that I'm not made for tech because I don't have any female role model to look after. And then I started interviewing women in STEM. And I remember one of those interviews which deeply impacted me as a person about how the women faced workplace harassment and she was not given the opportunity to speak because only reason was that she was a female in that whole male-dominated field. And then it really clicked my mind to start to just not wait because I'm young, and though I faced sexism and ageism when I moved forward, but I didn't stop by then, and that's how it really began as a newsletter and a blog, and now we are hosting workshops and conferences.
That is amazing. The stuff that you have accomplished at age 15 is just incredible, and I love that you kind of touched on ageism, because it's just because you're young doesn't mean you can't do amazing things. And I kind of wanted to touch on this. You kind of answered this, but your page mostly features women, and why is it important for you to highlight women in STEM? I know you kind of talked about you need a role model and stuff like that.
So what I observed being in tech was that in an area where tech is so accessible, where STEM is so accessible, we are seeing this really enormous disparities in who is really accessing those opportunities. I'm observing that how online, so what I really observed back then when it was kind of inspiration to me that drew me forward to start Salubrious was the thing that, I noticed some online coding academies and camps would always use boys, as in their advertisements showing that how they can be the future Mark Zuckerberg or the future Bill Gates, and not really, empowering the whole the all sexualities, or the all genders. And that, I think, was really a big key motivation for me that drew me forward to start Salubrious. And then after that, we really focused on youth from low socioeconomic backgrounds and youth from different races, but it really started from like women in STEM. So yeah.
No, that's so amazing and so important too. I don't know about you, Vasilis, but this was something I need to look up before our meeting today. What does Salubrious mean to you?
Okay, so that's a wonderful question. Salubrious is when I started, honestly, like when I started Salubrious, and I had no idea like what I'm doing. It was just like me sitting in my childhood bedroom with a laptop, cold mailing some women in STEM, asking them for their story and publishing them on Instagram or on newsletter, and that was it. But when I started conducting those interviews, and how much I got to know about their life or the background of whole this thing, this mentality that people have that in this male dominated field. So then I really expanded it as an organization. Firstly, it was just like me. I thought it will always be just me interviewing people, and that's it. But then I started to expand within my community, within my school, within the clubs, and then it really grew as a community organization. And now since a month we are a registered non-profit organization. So yeah, I'm so excited to see what future has for Salubrious. The main core mission of Salubrious is to not just empower minorities in STEM, but also teach them STEM in such a manner that that ties up tech leadership, that ties up entrepreneurship, these real world key skills that youth might need to solve real world problems. So teach them STEM in more of a fun learning manner rather than a theoretical fashion.
Yeah, so it's like STEM, but it's a fully versed, I can't think of the word, for lack of better words, fully rounded version. What am I saying? But kind of an all-encompassing version of STEM, kind of make it more appealing to youth, but give them skills that you can use in other aspects of your life too. That's what I'm getting from it.
Yes, what we like to emphasize through our program is the idea of a STEM X narrative, where we teach STEM in an applicable fashion to amplify the notion that STEM is a force for social good in a variety of ways, regardless of what your passion is. The perspective we take on STEM is that STEM has the ability to be applied to things that you really care about in a way that you care about, that you create the change that you want to see.
And I love that because I feel like STEM can kind of be that whole world can be a bit intimidating to some people. So I love that you guys take that approach.
Thank you so much.
For such a long time we're talking about STEM, but what is STEM? There are many people that don't know what STEM means.
I think STEM, if I take it as a personal perspective, STEM, for the dictionary point of view, STEM means science, technology. S stands for science, T for technology, E for engineering, and M for mathematics. It's the four important things that you might need. It's the basics of what we've taught in school, and I think that's exactly what we are working on, is that not just teaching the way STEM is. When we hear the word STEM, students are most likely to have the frown faces and to show that no interest in that, because that's so much of theories and formulas, and people don't really know how to apply that in real world. They just know okay, this formula can be used to solve this equation, but they don't really know how can this formula work in the real life. And I think that's what the narrative we want to take on STEM is, that STEM is a notion. It's a thing that we can use to solve global challenges, and it's not just global challenges, but we teach STEM in that fashion that it can be applied to maybe fashion, politics, entrepreneurship. And that's something like, that's one of our core value, is not to teach them in a theoretical fashion, which is why people have most phobias towards them. Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of them. No, it makes complete sense because, like, I'm someone who's more, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but is left brain the one that's more, like, creative, or is that right brain? The one that's more, like, analytical? Whatever, I think it's left brain. But, like, I was someone who's more, like, left brain or whatever. I forgot which one is which. Like, this is obviously showing that I'm left brain. But, so I was always like, stay away from STEM. Like, I'm not like too into the mathematics and all of that type of stuff, but I love like entrepreneurship and stuff and creativity. So it's kind of interesting to hear like that you can apply that to those things too.
Yeah, it's totally like applicable towards whichever field you are interested in. It can be as much as interdisciplinary as you want it to be. So that's the real like fun nature of STEM, which teachers at schools are hiding from us and just teaching the theoretical way. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, and we have seen that Salubrious has impacted over 5,000 plus youth from 35 plus countries with its events and workshops. What kind of events and workshops have you hosted in the past?
So most of our workshops are STEAM focused. So for example, we have coding workshops, we have one-on-one mentoring, we have STEM workshops such as, how can you use Python in neuroscience, or how can you use artificial intelligence to build fashion product. So it's like as interdisciplinary as it could be, so that it's not something that you can only think of, or it's just like you have to take a notebook and a pen and you have to note down each steps. It's more like visualized, and it's more relatable for the attendees. And it's like, for example, for our upcoming Tech Connect, which is this October, we are hosting this diverse groups. For example, the workshops which are mainly focused on technology, and we have the tech panels, the tech leaders panel, and so it's really exciting, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, that sounds so fun.
Well, have you developed any tips and tricks for getting more people to attend your events?
Yeah. So I have like attended some marketing workshops for that matter, and like not in general like it's just all about, but the things that I use like to attend, to make people, to get more people like connected with Salubrious, or just in general attend our events, is that I think what's most important is to be authentic, be something that our workshops, we always try to design a workshop in such a format that people can take something out of it. So most generalized, it's like the values we have at Salubrious, it's like totally shown over our events, and that's totally what we tell people why they should join us or why they should attend our events.
That sounds amazing. Like I remember in lectures, kind of it's just more fun when you can actually engage and not just have to be like lectured the entire time. That's definitely something I'm interested in. So all right, so now I need to know how I can get involved. Like, if someone is interested to contribute or even to get involved with Salubrious, how can we do this? Where can we find you?
So you can easily get connected with Salubrious by either being like in our events. I think the presence matters the most, and why we hold these events, why we hold these workshops, is to get connected with you, so that we all come together to solve this world problems with these special things that we have. Like, we have STEM, so that's how like you can connect with our events. Also, we have a chapter program going on. As soon as we have impacted, we have reached over 45 countries, and now we also have started a chapter program, which is that anyone, any young entrepreneur who wants to expand our mission in their city, in their local club, in their high school, or in their, simply say their club or their community, they can do it by starting a Salubrious chapter in their community. And we've helped them, provide them resources, we provide them the basic skills that they would need to lead a chapter, and we provide them the all like real small issues. That's how you can connect with our chapters. So you can either join our events, you can join our chapter program, and you always feel free to, like, if you always want to have like some tips and tricks you want to hear about, you can always feel free to DM me as well.
All right, guys, well, you heard it. We're going to post all of their information in the description of this podcast, so definitely reach out. And if you're interested in starting a chapter, you can just reach out to them. Now, Vaishnavi, you are self-characterized as a social entrepreneur, innovator, and activist. What does a social entrepreneur mean to you?
I love this question because I think social entrepreneurship is all about, having the core values. Like, for example, when I thought about Salubrious, I had this like basic reasons why I started Salubrious when it was not even a non-profit. It was just like a newsletter. It was just like an Instagram page. So what really turned me as a social entrepreneur, or what really turned Salubrious as a non-profit, was the missions, the vision we value. And I think being a social entrepreneur is about making real world impact, building community, or the values you follow. You are really making some impact with that values. You are really impacting it. You are really taking an action on it. I think acting is the most important part of being a social entrepreneur. You have to be as creative as possible, but don't forget that you also have to be as realistic as possible. So it's like a balance between both of these things. And social entrepreneurship is all about, yeah, totally. So social entrepreneurship is all about connecting with people. It's like a network you're forming. I think it's like a very popular saying, your network is your net worth, which is so true. Like, even as a social entrepreneur, I realized how important, how powerful is networking is. How you can, like, today I'm here like in this podcast because of networking. Again, we get our sponsors through networking. So I think these are like little things, little skills that gather up together and make you a good leader, a good social entrepreneur, by following your mission and your values and staying true to it, staying authentic to it.
Yes, and that is exactly what change makers and this podcast is all about: the connection, the making like actionable difference, all of that. So that is amazing. I kind of want to know, like, what are your plans for the future? Where do you see Salubrious going?
I see Salubrious like in the near time future. Honestly, like, I love Salubrious. I just love talking about Salubrious as well, and I'm so like connected with Salubrious now. It's like one of my family members. So I see Salubrious, like, we are already a non-profit now. So I'm so excited to see like what future has ahead of us, and I plan to grow Salubrious in a way that every youth of not just India, where I am based, or not just in a particular nation or a particular community, particular city. I see every youth in this world. I know I'm taking a very large scale reference, but that's ultimately what Salubrious wants to do, is to that every youth never feels left out, regardless of their sexuality, regardless of their ethnic background, regardless of their socioeconomic background. I envision a world like in which it doesn't matter what background you come from, you look like, and everyone is treated equally. Like I imagine engineers working together, sitting across from each other, and there's a diverse set of skills, a diverse set of backgrounds. People from different socioeconomic levels, sexualities, ethnic backgrounds coming together to solve the problem that our society faces. And that's exactly where I want to lead Salubrious towards, to make sure that every youth is heard regardless of the background they come from.
Well, I know you guys can do it. I cannot wait to see where Salubrious grows. And again, guys, if this is interesting to you at all, make sure to check them out, okay? All right, well, it's time to say goodbye to Vaishnavi. Another great episode has came to an end. We would like to thank Vaishnavi for being with us today. We learned about what STEM is and some important events around this huge branch like the Salubrious Initiative. We hope that you guys like this episode. Until next time, keep changing the world. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. We had such a great time. Make sure to leave us a review. If you want more Changemakers content, you can follow us on Instagram at Gen Zers to Rise and on Facebook at ChangemakersZ.